Welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. I'm joined, as always, by Coach Bethany. How's it going today?
Great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Yep, it's been a crazy couple weeks, but it's been awesome.
Yes.
Lots of new people.
Mm-hmm.
Changing lives. All right, so speaking of changing lives, today we're going to be talking about community and how community could be the missing piece to your fitness plan and how it could really determine whether or not you succeed in achieving your goals. So we're actually going to go into the science behind community and compare it to people that may be doing something on their own. So we really want to dive into why people often start their fitness journey alone or their diet plan, whatever it is. But they often succeed when they join a group or have some sort of support. And that's what it's really all about. So a lot of home workouts often fade away. They start with good intentions, but something happens and then, maybe you quickly fall off track. A lot of gym memberships, when people come in and try to start working out on their own, a lot of those gym memberships go unused. And how a lot of programs that have support often outperform a lot of the kind of do-it-yourself plans, right? And this mostly applies, a lot of people that are starting out might be busy parents, working professionals, moms who have put everybody first and now they're trying to do something for themselves and they're struggling with that, or just people that have kind of tried everything. This can really apply and help you guys out. So most fitness plans, they don't fail because you lack discipline or anything, because they fail because of isolation. It's just kind of you trying to do everything on your own.
Right.
So the first thing that we want to kind of dive into is the science of belonging. So Bethany,
social science.
Let's get into the science of belonging.
Yeah. It is a very core human need. We are, whether we like it or not, we're very group-driven people or group-driven species. Our survival back, thousands of years ago depended on the community. If you were singled out, it basically meant starvation and death. And so we will conform to the group in order to stay within the group because you don't want to be an outsider. Whereas a lot of the motivational stuff today, they say, oh, be different, be the outsider. And it's it is so against our DNA to be that. Because one of the prime psychologists, his name's Abraham Maslow, and he has a hierarchy of needs, and belonging is just above safety. So there's general safety as the base. That's the first human need, is just safety. And then it's belonging and just motivation and well-being. That's the biggest part of that next step. And so he argues that humans have a fundamental need to form and maintain strong, stable interpersonal relationships. And a lack of belonging or a lack of those relationships is linked to higher stress, lower motivation, and increased dropout behaviors from especially the gym. But it's even seen as far as the centenarians, the blue zones. A big thing that they focus on is community and having these relationships with other people, family, friends. They have that well into, their hundreds, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of it, of general well-being and health, is to have these strong relationships. It doesn't have to be, you're friends with 100 people. It's as long as you have, I think, 2 to 3 strong core relationships, that makes a big difference as far as health and longevity.
Well, and who, we'll get into this, but who that group is
makes a difference too.
What group you consist of makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, right now, most of the groups that we're associated with in our country, they have unhealthy habits, or maybe they don't have the same goals as you. And so oftentimes they'll end up kind of pulling you down to that level. And we'll talk about, we kind of fall to the level of the group that we're associated with the most, right? Yeah. most people have heard the saying, you become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Yeah.
Like if you hang out with 4 people that, don't have healthy habits, maybe they eat poorly, maybe they don't exercise, maybe they smoke or drink, you might become that 5th person eventually, right? So when we connect this to fitness, most people feel out of place, they feel judged or invisible or alone. Their brain sees the environment as a threat, not for growth, and people don't stick with threatening environments. So like that first pillar you said, we seek safety first and then belonging. So you really need to find the right community, the right tribe, the right group, right, to succeed. So now we'll kind of go on like the research on group exercise as being that community and how it can help with adherence. So participants that exercise in a group, they reduce their stress levels by 26% on average. Just improved quality of life improved significantly. Those exercise alone did not experience the same stress reduction or improvement in their overall quality of life, right? Another key finding, research shows that after analyzing over 1 million individuals, social exercise participation was associated with increased overall physical activity. So by just being in a group and maybe you do, 2 classes a week, you're going to be more physically active outside of that as well. So it kind of carries over into other areas of your life, right? Hanging out with active friends increases individual exercise in another way. So, your environment really does influence your output into what you typically do, even by yourself.
Right. Because you don't want to be different. You don't want to be the odd one out. Right. So if all your friends are all exercising, then, you don't want to be the one that's the odd man out. Like you're going to exercise and be more likely to exercise because of that. Or if you feel like you would be judged if they're all having their healthy meal prep, or like you go over for dinner or something and they're all very healthy and health conscious and they have really healthy foods, and then you would feel out of place if you brought a bunch of booze and junk food. And so you don't want to feel out of place. You want to fit in. So whether it's, positive or negative, it's really influenced about like the group that you're surrounded with.
And a couple of examples, like a personal example is a couple of years ago when you started running regularly with Jim and Amanda, and you were training for that 25K or the 25K trail run. And then Katie started getting into running, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to start getting into it too. That you guys are my group, like my tribe. So I was like, well, I feel kind of out of the loop if I'm not doing it too. So then me and Katie ended up signing up for a half marathon, and a bunch of gym members actually went up and did like the 10K. So that was just a ton of fun, but it was motivating, and it brought my level up a little bit higher. It made me want to try something new and push myself and stuff because of that group and that community. So that was cool. But then there's like the other side, and a lot of people can relate to this. Maybe you are on a health and fitness journey, and you are at lunch at work and you bring the healthy food, and everybody else, maybe they ordered in, and all of a sudden you feel isolated and you feel out of the group, right?
Or they might even say something. They might say comments because your difference is calling them out, like without even, like, you're not saying anything. You might just be minding your own business, like eating healthier, like bring your own lunch. And they're like, well, then, like, why are you being different? And so then they almost see like, oh, well, are you trying to make us feel bad for eating the, they'll make like comments or something sometimes. And just to try to get you to go back to like whatever is normal or accepted by like the group. So it is quite fascinating. People are
and what's interesting is, if say there was a half a dozen people in that lunchroom, and there was one person that was eating healthy regularly, and then maybe all of a sudden a couple other people were like, oh, maybe we should try that, and then all of a sudden it's like half and half. Eventually all 6 of those people could gravitate and switch and change that group. But it's one way or the other, the group is influencing some sort of behavior or change, right? Whether it's positive or negative. So that's where the power of that community and tribe is so important, right?
Right.
And that leads into the next thing is like the identity and social norms. So as we said, you rise or fall to the standards of your tribe. So you don't just choose your habits, but you kind of absorb them. So psychology shows that humans subconsciously conform to group norms, like we said, with like the lunchroom, or language, expectations, and behavior patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So not because they're weak or anything, but because we're wired to belong to that group. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that have certain habits, it's likely you're going to adopt those same habits.
Yes.
Right. Kind of like me, like when, I hang out with you guys, and I mean, how many people did we get into CrossFit, and we had like the CrossFit tribe for a long time.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of you guys started switching to running, and then we kind of got into running. And so like we kind of change and adjust together kind of throughout the years. But we always, because we have that group, we're always trying new things, but most of the time it's always a positive thing. If I decided to completely switch my lifestyle, it might affect a lot of other people, who knows? And vice versa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly.
So what does this look like in real life? So if you're surrounded by people that are, complaining about being tired all the time, saying like, oh, I deserve this food, or like, oh, I just want to have this cookie at lunch or whatever. And maybe you joke or laugh about people that are going to the gym to try to like make yourself feel better, or just kind of coming up with excuses as to why maybe it's not for you. People that say it must be nice when somebody does something positive or gets something, maybe they achieve a goal or whatever it is. Oh, it must be nice to be able to do that or have the time for that, etc. You bond over those stress instead of the solutions, right? You bond over the negative things instead of the positive things. So this does happen in the real world all day, every day, especially in the workplace. So what happens, like, you don't feel the pressure to change or improve. You feel the pressure to match, right? And so complaining might become the normal thing. Skipping workouts or exercise or healthy eating becomes understandable and normal. Fast food might become convenient. Going out for a night out and drinking or something might become that social glue. So maybe instead of the social thing being the group exercise class, it's like, oh, let's go out for drinks on Friday night, right?
Right.
So slowly those standards adjust downward, not dramatically, but gradually over time, until most people hit a point where like, oh man, I need to make some changes or something.
Yeah, kind of like an uh-oh moment of, oh, how did I get here?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you look at even like other countries of what their like social norm is, or their normal around food or walking, and just different cultural things that aren't really normal for us, of like, European countries, they walk so much more. It's like, if you can walk or bike somewhere, like, you do it. It's almost looked at weird if you like have a car,
right? Or
like you don't walk to a lot of different places. And then, having healthy lunches and healthier foods, it's a pretty good norm over there, having like slow and intentional lunches. Whereas like hustle culture is so ingrained here versus like over there. And it's very like, they take like 2 hours for lunch. And over here it's unheard of.
Right.
So it is just different of like what environment you're in, or even like here versus in a different city or a different state, like that has different cultural norms. Based on like how healthy or how fit and stuff like that. I know like California essentially is like the epitome of the health and fitness scene, of like, bodybuilders would like go there. It was like the Mecca. And there's so many different gyms out there. There's so many different parks, and it's just centered a little bit more around like health and fitness, and like things like Whole Foods and all those different more health food stores are around there, versus here we have Walmart.
Yeah.
And it's not as, there's not a gym on every corner. We have our gym and then like nothing for 30 miles around.
Yeah.
So it is just very different as far as where you are at. So sometimes it can feel like it's a little bit of an uphill battle,
Mhm.
but you just have to find the right like tribe
Yeah.
within the small community to make it
Yeah.
work.
And you might have to be that person that creates the tribe, essentially.
Right.
And so, like, you might have to be that person that's like, hey, Bethany, I'm going to try this out. I want to start making some healthier habits. Like, do you want to do it with me?
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask. Like, I remember when you first walked into the gym and you're like, hey, do you guys like do CrossFit? And we're like, yeah. And you were like, I've always wanted to try that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, come and join us. And then
Right.
next thing you know, she's working for us. And
Yep.
here we are 5 years
Here we
later.
are.
Like, so you never know what could happen. So don't be afraid to like kind of be that person that influences your group and your tribe.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't change your environment. Like, it's not like you're just going to, I'm just going to quit this job.
Right.
You maybe don't have that option, right? And so
Yeah.
you can't choose your coworkers or anything, but you can be the person that maybe instills some change if you try. And it might start with, like I said, one person, but then if the 4 see 2 people doing it, and then all of a sudden it's 3, and then all of a sudden it's 4, and then all of a sudden everybody's doing it.
Right.
And here's another great example. I grew up in a family where the social norm was you had a few beers together every time you get together. I mean, ever since I was, 18, that was just the social norm between my brothers and cousins and aunts and uncles, parents, grandparents. And so me and my friends, we enjoyed hanging out together and kind of partying quite a bit. And so in college, I had 4 roommates, and me and one of my roommates, we did work out regularly. But the others didn't. So there's 3 other roommates that did not. And eventually we got all of them into the gym. And now to this day, like, all of us still do exercise of some sort and work out.
Right.
And it just took basically me and then my one other roommate, Corey, that like just going to the gym regularly all the time. And then we would get the other guys to go in and play basketball. And then eventually it was like, hey, you want to lift before we play? And then we just gradually got them. Everybody was lifting.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you could be that catalyst for somebody. And the really cool thing about that, and that's why like we get so much satisfaction from being trainers and coaches, is like you could literally transform and change somebody's life. Your influence is a lot more powerful than you think. So don't feel like just because you're the only one that's like eating healthy or exercising or whatever in your group, your family, your workplace, whatever, don't feel like you have to be isolated forever and be the only one. Like, you have power and influence over those people. And all you gotta do is ask and be like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Maybe you want to come and work out with me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, let's meal prep for a month together. Like, let's hold each other accountable and text and stuff. That makes such a big difference. So by doing that, you're flipping the script. So now you're surrounding yourself with people. Maybe you are bringing your lunch from home. You're walking on your break instead of like checking TikTok the whole lunch and laughing at videos or something. Drinking water throughout the day, maybe instead of getting Coke from McDonald's or something like that. Maybe you're starting to work out regularly. I mean, you're setting goals together. You're celebrating wins together and consistency. You're encouraging each other to lift each other up. So what happens is, next thing you know, exercise becomes the norm, working out becomes the norm, healthier eating becomes the norm, talking about goals and growth becomes, normal, right? So essentially, you're just raising those standards, and people will rise to that standard because of the group, right? So it's really powerful. And so we'll go into a little bit of science behind this. So there's something called the social contagion theory. Basically, research in behavioral science shows behaviors spread throughout social networks, meaning obesity spreads throughout social networks. Smoking spreads throughout networks. Happiness spreads throughout networks, as well as exercise. So if you hang out with 4 other people that are overweight, you're likely to become the next. You hang out with 4 other people that smoke on their lunch break, you're probably going to become the next person to smoke on their lunch break. If you hang out with a bunch of people that are constantly complaining about the world's problems and always unhappy, you're probably going to always think in a negative way and only see the negative things in life and not the happiness in life, right? As vice versa, if you're hanging out with people that are always positive and happy and energetic, always thinking about the positives, you're going to become more happy and energetic naturally.
Right.
And it's literally like a flip of a light switch, you know, and everybody can relate to this. You know, we see dozens and dozens, if not 100 people a day coming through the gym, and we greet everybody. Hey, how's it going today? You know, welcome, whatever it is. And the response that we get in return is always different. And we know the people that have more of we call them battery chargers or battery drainers. So, you know, if you had somebody come in, you're like, oh, I'm doing great. How are you? You're like, I'm doing great too, or whatever it is. And then if you have somebody, hey, how's it going today? And they're like, could be better. And then all of a sudden you feel like a little deflation in your own mood, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy how it works. But it works in the inverse. So like if somebody asks you, hey, how's it going today? And you're like, I'm doing great. How are you? And you might charge them up a little bit.
Right.
You know? So it's pretty crazy how that works. But next part, why people fail alone. So obviously we've talked a lot about the community and why it's successful when you are with a tribe and with a group. But we want to talk a little bit about like why people fail alone. So most people, they might start their fitness journey or health journey by downloading a program, seeing something online, watching YouTube videos. Maybe they get a treadmill or something for at home, build a home gym. They start a diet. But if they're doing it alone, as soon as that motivation drops, and it's not if it drops, it's when it drops, because motivation is so finite. It can fluctuate by the hour of whether you're motivated or not. And when that motivation does drop, no one's noticing, no one's encouraging you, no one's sharing that energy with you. There's no emotional buffer. So that's where most of those plans collapse or fail, not because you're weak or anything, but it's just because you're isolated. And so it's really important to make sure that even if you just shared a goal, like, hey, Bethany, I have this goal, I want to run 5K in April. Like if she knows the goal, my adherence to it actually goes up right away.
Yeah.
And then if you add in the fact that you're going to do it together in a group, or you have some sort of support system with it and accountability, the actual science shows that it goes up to like 95% more success rate. Mm-hmm. So it's 65% if you tell somebody, and then that jumps up to 95% success if you have some sort of accountability or support system with it. Right. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. That's as far as like people that try doing it on their own. You don't get those little doses of dopamine or little doses of motivation that you get from like working out with somebody else. Like you see them doing well, and then like they see you doing well, and so you kind of like feed off of each other in that way. But then also like it just helps to have somebody else there along for the journey. Working out with somebody else it's nice just to have like, okay, somebody you can talk to in between sets or something, especially somebody that's first starting out. Mm-hmm. Beginners, they might be more intimidated to go to the gym, but the people that we see that are super consistent in just like the membership part are people that have like a partner that they come in with, or, they at least, maybe they don't work out together with that one person, but, they're all working out together at the same time. So there's like this little group of them that they kind of form. And so they'll be like, hey, like, where you been if you missed a day? Yes. And so then, you feel missed. And so then you're like, okay, like I'm more likely to like be there because somebody missed me, or like they noticed that I didn't come in. So that makes a big difference as far as just like beginning and starting out. But yeah, so I was looking up some differences as far as like who's successful where, because it's different for everybody. Some people are really successful when they are going at it alone, but they have very high like intrinsic motivation. And they like their routine. They just do their thing. It's very flexible for them. Some people it works really well, but it's kind of a few. Yeah, I would say it's a small percentage of people that actually like really do well with solo workouts. And then there's some who really do well with group workouts. Like they wouldn't come into the gym on their own at all. But they, love doing the group and they come into that. And beginners fall into the category of being most successful when they're in with a group, because they get that motivation, they get that accountability. You don't have to think about doing the workout or like what they're going to do. They just come in, do it, and then that's pretty much it.
Yep.
And then the next level would be for more advanced people, is doing more of like a hybrid. And so it's kind of what we do.
Yep.
Is like you have some where you are working out with other people, and then you have some workouts that you work out on your own. And so doing it that way, it promotes both like the autonomy of like, hey, I'm doing this for myself. It helps to build that intrinsic motivation and belief in yourself. And also the flexibility of doing it on your own time, but then also has the group motivation, the accountability and everything like that, the social aspect of it. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Doing, 2 to 3 group workouts a week and then 1 to 2 on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of advanced people, or people that have been doing this for a long time, they do that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that they'll come in and they'll do, 2 days a week of classes, and then they'll come in on days in between or other days, and they'll do 1 to 2 workouts either with like somebody from the class or on their own.
Yep.
And, that's what it seems like that works the best long term, as far as like sustainability, that like hybrid model.
Yep.
So that's honestly what we do too. So
yeah, I mean, there's 2 examples. So like our prescription to everybody that comes in is like, hey, most people are going to benefit from 2 to 3 strength training days, and we prefer that they do, or we recommend that they do either a group workout or workout with a trainer, which is one of us.
Yep.
Because we will be that support system and that accountability. And then the other days, you want to move your body. So even if it's just going out for a walk, a bike ride, coming into the gym, doing something on your own, that's our recommendation and prescription. And even thinking about like our own workouts. So like Mondays, we try to work out together, and then if Katie's got the day off, she'll join us.
Right.
As like a little team workout. Whenever Katie doesn't work, she usually joins me for a workout. So I have her as a partner. But then there's obviously days where she's working and it's not Monday, so we don't have our team workout, where I'm on my own and you're on your own, right?
Yeah.
So it's really a mixture. But having those little group workouts or team workouts or partner workouts keeps you motivated and keeps that fire burning.
Right.
And you can kind of communicate with each other at the end of the week, like, hey, did you get your workouts in? That kind of stuff. How'd the workout go? What's cool about like the level method and Chalk It Pro is like we've got that leaderboard. So like motivates me when I'm on my own, because I can look at the leaderboard and be like, oh, Bill's got this time. And I can like pushes me to make sure I not only do the workout, but I like do the workout hard and push myself, right? Try to get better. So it is very, very powerful. And what's cool about community is it can kind of absorb those bad days. So if somebody had a bad workout, bad food week, a stressful month, when you're isolated or doing it by yourself, that could lead to you giving up and quitting, right? Whereas if you're in a community, it becomes support. Like Bethany mentioned earlier, if somebody misses a couple workouts, if your buddy doesn't text you, we will be like, hey, haven't seen you in a couple of days. Like, is everything okay? So we try to check in and support you, right?
Yeah.
A lot of our members have become really, really tight friends. So if somebody's, I couldn't tell you how many times the members come in and having a bad month or a bad day, bad week, and upset, and how many members will just kind of crowd and like put their arm around them and is everything okay? And just support each other that way and keep everybody going. It's really cool. So research consistently shows that social support will improve that stress resilience. It will help with the long-term habit formation, the self-efficacy. And this is why group and personal training works so well. Accountability coaching works so well. And now that we have our, medical wellness programs through Asher, having the medication plus the community will work so well, and that we're really excited about.
Right.
So it's not really either or, but it's kind of both together, right? So you might be able to do some on your own, but you want to have some sort of support system and accountability as well.
Right.
So now we'll kind of tie this into our Thumb Strong culture. So basically, we would like to define our environment. We try to make it as beginner friendly as possible, non-judgmental. We're encouraging. We set higher standards for us and all of our members. We share the struggle, but we also share the wins, right?
Yeah.
We suffer together, and those who suffer together stay together, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're somebody that needs, structure and energy, a sense of belonging, you think you need some accountability or emotional relief, like that's what we do, and this is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So you shouldn't have to do it alone. You should always do it with somebody. It doesn't have to be us. It can just be a partner, like we said, but having some sort of support will dramatically help.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else on that, Bethany?
Yeah, I think that wraps everything up pretty good.
Okay. So the final thought here is community is not just a bonus, but it's a multiplier of your results in your fitness, your health, right? You could have the best workout plan, the best nutrition strategy, but without belonging, sustainability will drop. And sustainability or consistency is everything, right? So the strongest people aren't the ones who go alone. They're the ones who choose the right tribe.
Yeah.
That's my closing quote.
Stronger together.
Stronger together. I love it. All right. So hopefully this was helpful. If you are seeking help or want to start your health and fitness journey, try to find and surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. And if you can't find those people, that's where you can come in and chat with us, and we will help you find those people. We'll be those people to help you achieve those goals, keep you consistent, keep you coming. And just help you improve your overall quality of life is the goal, right? So, like I said, if you need help, reach out to us. And until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.